Welcome to Unmasking Skin. I'm Tabitha Isabel, and I created this space because I was so tired of watching women blame themselves for skin struggles that were never their fault to begin with. So welcome to my new podcast. Welcome to this sacred space. I'm so excited to have you here. I want to dive straight in and kind of tell you a little bit about me, a little bit behind the scenes, starting with my skin journey. So my skin journey truly started when I was about 13 years old. I really struggled with acne as a teenager, and it was a really traumatic experience, to be honest. I started getting nodular and cystic acne, which, if you don't know, they're kind of like the large under the skin bumps, and they are extremely painful. And obviously, as a 13-year-old, I literally looked around at my peers and I was like, what is going on? Like, is there something wrong with me? Why is my acne not just like everyone else's? Why is it so severe? Like, what is going on? Like, who did I, piss off to have to deal with this? I really just didn't understand. It truly affected my confidence. It affected the relationships that I had in my life, and it really affected my self-worth. It was a really long time before I started to kind of love myself again after having acne as a teenager. I unfortunately actually went on medication, but I'll get into that in a moment. We started off by basically trialing loads of skincare products, anything that literally said acne on the label. Like, me and my mum, we bought it. Well, obviously my mum bought it, I was 13 years old. But we literally tried everything. I remember one time we walked into like Clinique in like a Boots. It was like a little Clinique counter basically, and we were there, and I just remember literally like the lady was just like, wow, like that's really severe. And I was like, yeah, I know. And we literally left the shop with like a whole bag full of Clinique products, and they didn't work, of course. We went back and tried like lots of different brands. We went into Lush one time, and even though the girls were absolutely gorgeous in there because it's Lush, they are always just so friendly in there, aren't they? They did recommend like a bunch of products that help with like oily, spot prone skin, but because my acne was so severe, it needed a much different approach that they weren't able or educated to give me. So of course, when skincare didn't work, we looked on to the next thing, which we tried old wives' tales. We're talking about burning plastic on skin. Was not a fun time. And it was a little while before we actually took the leap and went to the doctors about it. And it just went even more downhill from here, to be honest. I got prescribed a cream. It was probably something like Durac, and then I was prescribed limacycline, which is an antibiotic, and neither of these things worked because the acne was so severe. And obviously they don't do tests on you or anything like that. Like, it's very rare that they do tests on you for acne. And I was put on a bunch of different contraceptive pills. Yasmin was one of them. I know that they really like that one for acne prone skin. And I did end up being referred to a dermatologist at a local hospital, and that started my journey with Roaccutane, or as it is more commonly known now, Istoritun. I can't even say it. And the side effects that this medication has, it is incredibly long, incredibly horrific. There is things like suicide ideation, worsening of mental health, and if you're someone who struggles with acne, you probably have mental health issues anyway, because it comes with so much self-worth and confidence issues just in general. And it was a lot. I really struggled on this medication. They told me I was going to be on it for 6 months, and it turned into a year, and they had to up my dosage a lot because I just wasn't getting anywhere with my skin. It was really complicated. And obviously as a teenager, I think I must have been about 14, 15 at this time, and obviously getting through secondary school anyway is so hard, but obviously the slightest difference and you're just like the target for bullying, and that was daily for me. And there was even times when like I would wait for my class, like, and we'd queue up outside the lesson, and I remember this boy came up to me once and he just went, oh my god, Tabitha, what happened? And at that point I was just so past myself with having to explain my appearance, because you should never have to explain your appearance, especially when it comes to things like acne and things like you really, really can't help, you know. And I these things were just like a daily occurrence at this point. Like, I would walk around school and there's always someone looking, and it happened outside of school as well. There would be adults all of the time, just pointing at my skin and staring at my skin, and it was such an uncomfortable experience, and it really made me feel like really small, like incredibly small and frustrated, and I did become incredibly depressed and isolated. And after my experience with Accutane, my skin was clear after a year of being on it, and experiencing all of those horrific side effects like peeling skin. You know, I was barely able to walk a lot of the days because of the side effects. But I did get clear skin at the end of it, which was, it felt like a massive blessing at the time. I was just about to leave secondary school and go to college. I was like, wow, okay, like this is a new chapter for me. And I did start to feel a little bit better about my skin. I was absolutely terrified of it coming back though. And a bit of a spoiler alert, it did. But not for a lot of years later. And thankfully, when it did come back, I already embarked in the beauty industry. I started offering just what I like to call fluffy facials, where they're like kind of relaxing. They don't do a lot for the actual integrity and actual skin health, but there's a place for them. They're relaxing, you know. And I started off doing facials like that, like a lot of us do. And yeah, my acne started to come back as an adult. It must have been 5 years from being off of Accutane, and it did come back, and because I'm most prone to that most severe type of acne, that is what I got, and that kind of started this whole journey and led to me to become the skin health specialist, the beauty medicine practitioner that I am today. And it was a long journey, and it still is. It's, you know, it's ongoing. Like, your skin always heals and gets better with time, and you'll have fluctuations, and it'll get worse a little bit now and again, and then it'll get better. It's a process. It's always going to be a process, because it's linked so much to your internal health and all these external factors. But it was a massive turning point for me when I got my acne back, and I thought, oh my god, like, I literally had to sit down and, well, conversate with myself internally about, I'm not going on that medication again. It was just not an option for me. And so I realised that this time I had to figure it out for myself. I didn't have another option, because the option that I was given, it wasn't a liable option for me. I didn't want to put myself through that again. It was such a traumatic experience the first time, and I knew that I could cope with it, but I just didn't feel like I deserved to have to go through that again. And so I embarked my journey in the skin industry properly, and that is when I built my signature method, the skin triangle approach, which I'm sure I'll tell you all about it. And I fully opened my clinic for facials and skin health, and solely decided to stay in that lane. I dropped all of the beauty treatments that I was doing. I was doing nails, eyebrows, lashes, all of that type of thing. And I just thought, look, like, I want to help people with this. I want to be that person that I needed when I was a teenager, and that I needed again when I was an adult. I want to be that person that can actually help people with this issue, because there is so much misinformation out there about oily skin, acne prone skin, and just acne in general, and also just chronic skin conditions. The dermatology industry, through, you know, it's not the dermatologist's fault. Like, this is just the industry and how they do their protocols, but there is a massive issue with it, that the main thing that they do is they just give you medication and off you go. They don't look at the root cause. They don't look at your actual health and well-being, and obviously that plays a massive part of your skin health, which is why I'm so passionate about my holistic approach, because I realised healing wasn't just about skincare. It was about nervous system regulation, your self-worth, your boundaries, and just in general, just like having a deep return to your feminine energy, learning to love and accept yourself for who you are, because you are an incredible person and you don't deserve to have to go through these horrible and traumatic experiences. The skincare and medical world profit from our confusion, which is just the bare bones of what it is. They hand out antibiotics, Accutane, expensive routines without ever addressing what's going on inside. And it's about time that we spread the word, we stop spreading misinformation about skin. Because if you go online, even on like TikTok or whatever is your like platform that you mainly go to is, you'll find so much misleading information about skin health, about skin disorders, about anything to do with your health and well-being, and there's so many different voices out there that it's really complicated and hard to know who to trust, and hopefully I can be that person for you. So I want to talk to you about my skin triangle approach. So this is my signature method that I use in clinic with all of my clients and online in like all of my spaces, etc. So when I was dealing with acne, this is the signature method that I basically created because I was seeing a common theme through myself and all of my clients, and how skin health was kind of broken down into these three categories, and that when you basically look at these three pathways, that you basically know that your skin's going to be healthy, your integrity of your skin improves, etc. So the skin triangle approach basically looks at three different avenues. We look at topical, internal and emotional health. So topical obviously is your skincare products, anything that we topically apply to your skin. Then we've got internal, this is where we look at gut health, nutrition, supplements, superfoods, anything as such that impacts your hormones and that type of thing. And then we've got emotional, which is a main factor that most people miss out, to be honest, even skin professionals. Most people don't even consider the emotional aspect. And with this, I'm on about nervous system regulation, we're talking about meditation, we're talking about reducing the inflammation that is caused by having high cortisol levels. And that is exactly what my skin triangle approach kind of sorts out, all of these different factors. So I've seen with my clients, and it's absolutely incredible, and I absolutely just love this, that there's so many of them, pretty much all of them, bar a few probably, that have came to me when nothing else has worked, even when they've been on Accutane, even when they've been given all these antibiotics, these creams, these treatments, even like chemical peels, and whatever it is that's going on with their skin, whether it's acne, rosacea, dermatitis, psoriasis, whatever it is, we've used the skin triangle approach, and that's the only thing that has worked for them. And that is just because it is addressing the root cause of what's going on with their skin. And obviously when you're addressing the root cause, you're basically setting yourself up for success, because as long as you maintain the new habits that you form around those three pathways, then your health improves and it stays consistent. It's basically like having the intention of like getting really like slender, working out, that type of thing, and it's like, okay, like I'm gonna go to the gym like a few times a week. If you stay consistent with that, you're going to get the results that you want. But if you don't stay consistent with that, your health goes back over, right? And that's exactly what this is as well. So this approach is quite different to a lot of other approaches, which is a good thing because it works. It's proven to work. It's basically rooted in emotional safety. It's got a focus on microbiome health, so that is your skin's integrity. It's working on your skin barrier. It's also about holistic healing. We're really focusing on just bettering you as a person, but in a very you-led way. Like, we're focusing on building healthy habits that are going to work for you. It's very individualized, and just so you feel incredible in yourself, because it's not a one-size-fits-all approach when it comes to skin. Like, there is just so many different factors that are going on for you that will affect your skin. So it's important that we kind of focus on you specifically. So what works for your mum, what works for your sister, what works for your brother probably isn't going to work for you. And that is the difference when we actually look at the root cause. You just got to remember, you're not broken. Your skin isn't a flaw. It's literally a messenger, and healing it starts with coming home. I am so excited to start this journey with you, to lead you to the best version of yourself, not just for your skin, but for your overall health and well-being, because it all plays a factor, it all has a role, and they're all kind of just, they work in collaboration with each other. So when I talk about all of these things in these podcasts or on my social media, all of these things that affect your skin and impact your skin in a positive way or a negative way, that is also to do with your overall health and well-being as well. So no matter what you're doing right now on your healing journey that you're gonna, embark on with me, it all plays such a massive role in you as a person, in how you get from one day to the next, how you feel in yourself, how you look when you wake up. And you deserve to feel good. You deserve to feel beautiful. You deserve to wake up tomorrow and think, okay, like, I don't actually want to wear makeup today, and I feel like I can leave the house with bare skin. And that is the difference when you start this journey. So thank you for listening to this episode. It's so exciting that this is now happening. Who would have thought? If you know me, and you follow me on my social media, I always have 110 things going on. I'm one of those people, there's always a billion things in Tabby World. But yeah, I'm so excited that you're here with me and you're listening. So thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. And I will see you in the next episode. Thank you for watching. Hey gorgeous, thank you for listening today. If this episode resonated, make sure to follow, leave a review, and share with someone who needs to hear this. And if you're ready to begin your skin healing journey and you want my personal help, head to tabithaisabel.com or DM me on Instagram @skinhealthspecialist. Your glow begins within. I'll see you next time.